Fire keep burning, can't cool, can't cool, can't cool, yo. The more they try to stop me, then the more me get further. More they try to cool me, then the more me get redder. More they try to fool me, the more me get wiser. Can't provoke me to anger. Yes, people, I just want to just go down a little history track to point out and open some things to our view and to our reality. We were in a situation in this country where our forefathers were colonized and oppressed by Europeans to work on estates to produce sugar cane for them, to produce sugar, rum, local agricultural produce, tobacco, fruits to send to England. Our forefathers did that. They didn't get no pay for all the labor and all these wasted years. So what these oppressors did, these colonizers, with the support of the kings and the queens of Europe, under the support of people like Queen Elizabeth II and their people, which somehow people worship in this country for years. Under the oppression of these regimes, we had a situation where we were forced to work for those people. We, our forefathers, were buffalo soldiers and we rebelled against those oppressors. In some cases, we burned their fields, we burned their houses. We put pressure on them, Jamaica, Guyana, United States, and finally, because of our efforts, because of the blessings of God, we got free. But what happened is these slave owners, these colonizers and oppressors, some of them saw our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, as being very sexy and appealing to them. And they took advantage of these women and they had children with them. These children were called mulattoes and they were placed in the higher parts of the hierarchy. They were given special privileges. So when we ran the oppressors, the slave owners out of the country, they left the estates in the hands of their children, their mixed children, the mulattoes. And so in all the Caribbean, the mulattoes were the ones who controlled most of the land that their parents left behind and when they went back to Europe. This is why, for the most part in the Caribbean, the people who control the big businesses, those who own the car dealerships, those who own the big buildings and the big businesses of the country, are the descendants of these mulattoes. So what happened is these mulattoes were controlling everything and they were ruling with an iron fist. And so all of our forefathers, our grandmothers, who had to work for them on, even on the existing plantations and other places to make a living. They were being oppressed. There were no laws to protect workers and all of that. And from all of this oppression, our people started like unions, civil unions. I mean, not civil unions, those unions to protect workers. Unions to protect the rights of workers. So this thing started in different parts of this Caribbean. And as a result of these unions to protect the rights of workers, political parties developed. And a lot of these political parties were opposition parties at that time, and some of them are still playing the, they still playing the role as if they are the downtrodden and oppressed class. Now, The mulattoes were the ones who formed the major parties, and most of them they tend to be more right wing. And the parties that were formed are from the working class. They were more left wing oriented. So by the strength of God, we grew up, we developed in our politics, and some of the right wing, the left wing parties, the parties that came from the unions, these parties started winning elections. But it is surprising now that the same parties that were political parties that were supposed to be there to protect the rights of people, especially the poor people, they have emerged, and some of them are very well organized in oppressing the poor. Some of these parties that started from workers, some of these parties that started as a result of trying to fight for the right of workers, are now the most oppressive and repressive, and they are the ones who fight against the workers the most in some cases. We came out of this this time, and you remember our forefathers, our fathers, some of our fathers, our grandfathers were around in the time of the Black Power movement, the time when they used to wear afros and all of those times. And some of these men were strong supporters of Fidel Castro. Again, they came from the era where people were fighting for the rights of workers. But what we have these days are a group of people, and you have them spread in different parts of the Caribbean, who claim to have been there to support the rights of workers. But these men are very oppressive. These people actually track down people to oppress. They look for people in the society that they can oppress, that they can deny the opportunity to find work. And these are some of the things that we do. So look at how far our forefathers came from being slaves to working for the children of slaves, to being oppressed. By the grace of God, some of their children went to university. And when these university people came back, they were more oppressive when they found position than even the white guys who own the sugarcane estates. Some of these people that you see running these governments, they came from the class of the working class. They understand, or they should have understood what it is to be an oppressed group. It turns out that when you give them power, they are the most oppressive and the most repressive. Might as well we stayed in a situation where we were being oppressed by the white people, because it is worse when you're being oppressed by your own kind. And if you think the thing that I'm saying about the mulatto thing, yeah, is a joke. Hey Fatty, good morning, good night, good afternoon. You alright? Yeah. So the things I'm telling you here about the mulattoes and how they control all of the land, and they are the ones after the original oppressors went back to England, they are the ones who got the land, and they are the ones who established all the car rentals and the big businesses in the Caribbean and in the country and in St. Lucia and places. If you think that I'm lying, follow the teachings, go and buy books by this professor, a guy named Professor Honeychurch, Dr. Honeychurch. He's actually, I think he's from Dominica originally. I'm not sure, but I think he may have lectured at UWI. But just go and read about Honeychurch, Dr. Honeychurch, and you will understand how the money moved from the white oppressors, colonizers of this land in the past, slavery time, to the mulattoes now. And just check in St. Lucia, who control all the wealth? When a small man have just one house, one business, worse, if he tries to have two businesses, all of you want to kill them. But the people who control 2,000 acres of land in a small area like this, you'll never see. You'll never see anything. You'll never tell them anything. Anyway, some of you all are crabs nonetheless. But those who want to learn, just follow what I'm saying there. The people who were oppressed, who came as a result, who started parties as a result of the oppression of the poor, and were looking for rights for the workers to free them from the oppression of the landowners and their children, they have become more oppressive than the slave masters themselves. Keep the fire burning.